Hi everybody, and welcome to Traveling with Russell, and welcome to a new video, and welcome to a very interesting video, I think, and I'm sure the title and the thumbnail gave it away. We're going to be going to the Children's Railway here in Moscow region, and we're going to go and have a look at what it involves for people to learn to work on the Russian railways, and to see the children and kids that work, or at least learning how to eventually work on the railways. It's a little bit of a longer explanation of it. I'm currently on the train heading there right now. I've just got a few more stations to go, and I'm actually going to have a little bit of a guided tour of the buildings and see some behind the scenes. Now today is a little bit special because it's actually the last day of the year for the railway, and it's also the last day for all of the students that are going through the program. And as we go to the next station, so it's the last day for the students who are part of the 3 or 5 year training at the Children's Railway, and there'll be actually a graduating class there today, and we'll probably see some celebrations, because I was told that on the last day there's a little bit of an atmosphere like it's the last day of school, so hopefully I can show that and portray that to everybody. So come along with me, and I hope you enjoy this walk around and tour of the Children's Railway in Moscow. Before I get off and head towards the railway meeting point that I've got to meet some people, I just thought I'd briefly walk through the train here, and all of the kids where I was sitting are giving me a wave. How nice is this train? And by the way, these new models of train that run on this line are just so beautiful. Getting off the train, I just need to walk down off from the platform and then walk towards the Children's Railway. Have a look at the train going by. What great timing. Wow, that was really good timing. That's actually one of the newer trains, I believe. Cool. Will we get to the last carriage? Not quite. As this train just leaves, I decided to wait for it to leave because it's a really nice, cool train. Let's get back on track, or get off the track and head to the Children's Railway. Coming through the gates to the railway, the actual station right here. So there's actually 4 stations, and at some point we'll ride the train briefly and get to see the train on the track. However, right now it's a little bit quiet, and I need to walk on down to the main building, or administration building, which is just off in the distance. So this is actually the main building where the students come to do their classes and learning and teaching. The Moscow Children's Railway, very simply described. And the thing when you come here is there is so many more students than there are adults or teachers, and the whole point of this is that it's a railroad for teaching children to work on the railways. And then we're actually going to go through here to some of the rooms, or at least what I understand we are. Let's head on through there. So part of the tour, I get to come a little bit behind the scenes and see the control room for the station, and then all of the different students have different roles in the room here, and they're all very well dressed, they're all very well spoken, and the different tasks for the running of this railway. So of course it's not a full rail network like it would be in Moscow, but this is essentially 4 stations. However, it's still not simple for these guys to run this, and I don't want to get in their way, and because this is really active an active railway. So these guys are in charge with the lines and the crossings. There's ladies here who are responsible for incoming and outgoing calls. And then over here is the trainer. So all the different students here get to learn the different roles. And of course there's a trainer for that role and explains it. And then over here we have one of the young guys here who does the announcements that come over the tannoy and PA. And then in the corner there is the station manager, I think. Part of walking around the territory here, they've actually got one of the original trains that was built back in 1957. So 60 years they were using this particular model of train. And this was built very close to where I live, in Kaluga. They've got a little signboard here talking about the history of this train. And then they brought it here as a little bit of a monument to this railway track and to show what the original model looked like. We're going to walk on over to one of the depots. Now there's actually two of them here. One is actually for the passenger cars, I think they're called. And then the second one, which is the one we're going to go into, is actually where the locomotives park, which is just off in the distance, just over here. I've also got a chance to come into one of the depots for the trains, and the actual space right here is one of the trains that's already out on the tracks. Of course, there's a schedule running right now. And then this is one of the other trains, and they've got it decorated a little bit today because they've got a ceremony later on. And then something that's really cool right here, they've actually got a train simulator, which is for the Moscow Central Circle, MCC. And one of the guys here is actually using this, and this is the only one in Russia, and it was given to the Children's Railway for use, basically for, I'm going to say the word practicing, but for real practical use. Also being a workshop here, they've got some tools and different things. And then even the inspection pit. And then all of the employees, or the kids, students, actually do all of the different functions in here. And this, I think, maybe is one of the next drivers, I think, or preparing this train. And then have a look. You can see where they go out from right here. I've even got a chance to climb inside and see the cabin where the drivers sit right here, and all the different control panels and all the different functions. And then the co-pilot. Someone let me know in the comments what the name of the assistant driver is called. I keep thinking it's co-pilot, but maybe co-driver. This is so cool to see this. You can also see back into the carriage and see the actual engine right here as well, which is very neat. And then of course the other carriages behind would be the passenger carriages and all of the workings inside. So we're actually here at Pionierskaya station, which is one of the stops and the last and first stops for the actual line. And slowly people are boarding to go on the train. And basically, it's not that much smaller than a normal train, except the fact that this is what's called narrow gauge tracks. And then all the staff are doing their duties, or all the students. So everyone has a different role, which is exactly mirroring what you would see if you caught a train at any suburban train station in Russia. And also the ticket sales as well, and the staff or the students working there would actually be the same people that you would see at a normal train station. But again, these are all the students that are doing the different tasks, so they learn literally every duty at a Russian train station. And It's just so interesting to see this and walk around and try to understand what I'm trying to show you. Part of getting to walk around, I'm really seeing all of the behind the scenes of train operations. And although this is what they call a children's railway, this is really a full-fledged Russian railway. And the only direct difference is the amount of people that are here today. You'll see more, of course. However, all of the duties are performed by students. And then even you can walk on and off the platforms and see the different tasks that they're all performing, even from people that are controlling the amount of general public that are here. You can just hear over the PA somebody making announcements. So there's just so many tasks that you pretty much wouldn't see if you were just to simply catch a train and go somewhere. And this is one of the vital training centers for the Russian railways, because they literally get to come and do all the tasks, and then at that point, after they finish their studies here, they can go on then to university and learn about the transport system, and then at that point then they can then go work on the Russian railways. So I'm actually on the platform here, and this train departs in about 5 minutes or so. And this is very crowded. There's actually more people here than there was on the train that I caught to come to this region of Moscow. This is really, really very hectic how many people are here. There's obviously such a fascination with this, and to come and actually see the trains, wow. And somehow I'm going to get on board and find my seat. So we're actually going to go on board the train. Now, one thing that's quite important is there is a lot of the students actually working today and operating the train as it would be in normal operation. So I don't want to get in anybody's way. You'll see there's a small amount of panic by some of the staff because they want to make sure everything's correct. And just look how amazing they look in their uniforms. Now, we didn't get on a little bit earlier, and we're going to have to stand for this trip. As we leave the station, you can see all the people waving, and of course we're going just a couple of stations along. However, it's customary, I think, for everyone to wave who's watching the train go by and to, you know, enjoy our trip. So the actual train's quite a lot fuller today because it's the last trains of the season, and lots of people want to come today. Now, it is actually a very warm day outside as well, so you'll see lots of people fanning themselves or trying to get some fresh air in the train. But how neat is this? We're actually going through one of the small dacha regions, and you can see all the houses literally along the line here, which is very cool. I can't imagine living here to see this go by every day. This would be so neat. And then we're actually going to go around here, and then literally we go by the main roads. We've actually got off the train at one of the middle stations, and actually technically when you ride this you can only get off and get back on again, and it's not a deboarding station. It's actually really so interesting that it's literally in the middle of this small village, and you can see the roads and the houses nearby, and then the train. I think there's actually maybe a few extra drivers today because it's the last trains of the season, and I think everyone's a little bit more happier than other days of the week. And then only these two guys still have to perform the tasks, so they're a little bit more serious because they've got to make sure that people aren't crossing the tracks and getting in the way of the train. and the train is slowly leaving. And I was told that I have to wave because it's customary, and this is something that they do when the trains go by. And wow, that's so cool. Wow, really and truly. And off it goes. So we've actually made it back to the original station, Pionierskaya, and being that we're here on the last day of the season, everybody who are students here, and I think some family members, have all come to welcome back the very last train. Have a look at how many people are here. This is very cool. So many people that are, I think, really genuine rail fans, and of course a lot of the students. So the students that would either be scheduled to work today, or I'm not sure, come and learn today. It's a really large crowd. It's really so fascinating, the love and admiration for trains in Russia, and how much people love them, they love riding them, and they love seeing them. And you know, for them, all the students that are here, that are doing the classes, and they see these trains every day that they're here, but yet they still have the passion to come and see the last train of the year. I think there's very few places in the world that you get kids, students, who are this passionate and are this excited to come and see a train on the train lines. Being that it's the last one of the year, it's like the last day of school, and you know, the holidays start, and it's just so fascinating. These kids aren't at home playing video games, they're not on their phones, they're enjoying the Russian railways, and they want to be a part of it. I've almost lost the young lady that's given me the tour around. She also wants to make sure she can get a photo. And then now the person in charge of the tracks is coming to tell everyone to move back. So even the students have to tell the students where they can stand or where they can't. So I will explain this a little bit more in detail after the train comes. However, it's like Taylor Swift is arriving. I don't know. And this is the very last train of the season for this children's railway. And I think there's not a person with their phone not wanting to miss this.
I thought I'd jump in and talk a little bit about the Children's Railway. At the time when I was there, it was very hectic. That was the last day of the season, and it was also the graduating day for the class that's completed the whole program. There was also a lot of families there, and there was some general public who had gone there for the last day as well. Anybody can turn up there. You can buy tickets to ride the railway from one end to the other and back again. There was people there doing that as well. So it was a little bit difficult to actually film the whole process of the tour that I had. I was actually invited by a channel subscriber to that day, and I was very graciously given a tour around by a young lady that you might see in a few of the different shots. She was absolutely amazing. She spoke beautiful English, and a lot of the kids are just so excited to share their passion for the railways. The actual children's railway itself, where I was, is actually part of a much bigger program in Russia. They actually had as many as 50 of them dating back to times of the USSR, and there's quite a few less of them now. So I was very fortunate to go to the one in Moscow region. It's up in the northwest of Moscow. It's about 2 hours from my house, so it wasn't so easy to get there. However, there is the train that I was riding that you saw right at the beginning. So once I figured that out, it was okay. So every year, as many as 15,000 children go through the training program. The kids are aged between 10 years old and 18 years old. And it's actually completely free to complete the whole course. The kids do it alongside normal schooling, and it lasts up to 5 years if you're going to do the whole course. And the first 2 years they do basic training, and then after the end of the second year they can then go on to do more advanced training in different parts of the railway program. Now, I did show some of the back of house stuff where they've got the computer screens and the dispatches and things like that. I also showed the garages where they store the trains. So all of the processes that I showed were all completely run by children. And then, of course, there's adults or teachers there as well that are, mentoring them and showing what's happening and teaching them the different steps. It lasts up to 5 years. I've got some notes that I'm just reading off here. It operates from October through May, where they do classroom studies. And then in summertime, which is when I was there, which wasn't that long ago, they then operate the railway open to the public, like it was that day when I was there. Of course, that was the graduating day where you saw them tossing the guy in the air. That was one of the teachers, and they were all celebrating his last day. And there was obviously the graduating class. They actually had a ceremony at the end, which I saw briefly. It did go on for quite a while. So it's just such an interesting thing, and how much passion the kids have. I know I repeat it a couple of times in the video, and they all wanted to talk to me and share their experience on the railway. And then even going home, if you might notice at the end in a few more scenes, there were some kids walking along with me. They were actually leaving at the same time, and we walked to the railway line to actually catch the train back to Moscow together. So it's just so interesting. I will put a link to the program that they have and the website. And if anybody happens to be in Moscow and in summertime, definitely go and check it out. If you're into railways and trains, I think it would be fascinating. Let's get back to the video.
the celebrations continue, and I guess it's a happy time for everybody because it's the last trains of the season, and then also the graduating class. From what I understand, this is the graduating class, and it's very hard to try to film because every time I switch the camera on, someone jumps in front, and I really don't want to trouble anybody. Lots of people taking photographs, of course. Very cool. And the trains are leaving. So the trains are leaving now from the platform, and we'll go back to the garages and go to sleep basically for quite a lot of months. So, and they're really pressing the horn a lot today. A lot more than what is the normal allowed. So the train is coming in and out. They want to actually get some photos and more videos of the train. Everybody, even including myself, wants to get photos of it. They want to see it. And this is solely operated by students and children. I'm going to say children. The youngest are 12 years old, ranging to 18 years old. And it's just hard to comprehend that when I think about it. I know this video seems a little bit higgledy-piggledy or a little bit all over the place. However, the nature of coming here today on the last day of the season, it's very busy. There's a lot of people here, and I was fortunate to have a guided tour, or at least a tour of the main building, and to go see behind the scenes a little bit. So if it seems like I'm cutting in and out of some of the different parts that I'm filming, it's mostly because there's so many people here, and it's no worries though. I hope the video comes out okay. A lot of what you saw back when the train came to the final platform was, of course, a celebration of the end of the school year, or the year of the children's railway, and then they'll actually have a graduating class, and then they've actually got some of the seats with names on, mostly for the parents and family that are part of the graduating class. And then along with that, I think literally every student that's involved in this thing are here as well. I feel like I'm in the way constantly, but I do want them to make sure everything runs smoothly. So there is quite a lot of people that we saw back when the last train arrived, and then they're here for the final ceremony and the, I think, handing out of certificates. Depending on the students that come through this railway, they are doing between 3 years and 5 years of study. And then upon graduation, they then have the option to go on to university to continue their studies in transport and the railroads. Then at some point then it would lead to obviously employment. However, these kids, I'm going to call them that, they could literally go work on the railroads as they are now. They're already dressed and in uniform, and their skill and talent at 12 years old, 15 years old is just scary for me, and their passion for what we've seen is just phenomenal. As I walk on out of the railway and I head back towards the train that I will get back to Moscow, I really hope you've enjoyed this video. I really personally want to thank Irina, if she's watching, for giving me a guided tour of the railway and explaining some of the different functions that we saw in the video. It was a little hectic. There was a lot of people here today. I didn't really understand about how many people would be here today and how busy it would be, and how much passion the kids and children have for this railway. It blows my mind, and I hope it comes across in the video. I was a little bit rushed around because of the fact that this is the last day for them. It's like the last day of school and they want to relax as well. However, the train was still functioning for normal passengers today. So there was still an element of a lot of the different functions going on during that. So I hope it was interesting. Now, I'm not going to stick around for the ceremony here because it'll of course all be in Russian and a lot of speeches and introductions. However, look at the crowd that's gathered. I think this was everybody that was at that last train arrival that have come over here. So of course all of the current students, I think some of the past students are here, and then all of the graduating class as well. I didn't notice this walking in, but there's an adventure playground right here by the river, and there's kids doing these different gantries through the trees, and then there's some trampoline set up. How cool is this? I didn't notice this as I was walking in a few hours ago. So if anybody's been to Bali or to Ubud and anyone's seen the swing over the river in Bali, they've actually got one here by the river, and they've got quite a lot of safety going on for the kids to do this. However, they can get swung out over the river right here. What a beautiful place to come to, and a beautiful part of Moscow to have a walk and to go to the children's railway. And I think it's probably not possible to see it on camera, but there's actually some turtles here by these leaves in the water. What are these turtles doing in winter time? I'm very curious what they do in winter. It looks like my train back to Moscow is just arriving, and I'm going to be on the D3 line and then eventually on the D4 to get home. How nice is this train? Let's actually go on board. Let me show you briefly what one of the newer trains looks like on the Moscow rail network. We'll do this without any editing, I hope. Always politely we wait to the side and then head on inside. So this is a very nice train. After getting off the children's railway and then coming to this train, tells us all the next stations. And then you can see these nice seats. They actually have charging stations on the shelves on the side right there. Type C and USB charging. Very, very nice train. It even tells you outside today is 29 degrees. It is roasting hot. And inside the salon, 22 degrees. So this is a great way to end the trip. Alright, so I'll do my normal outro for the video. Kind of a little bit extended. I was thinking I was doing it back as I was walking by the river there. However, there was a few things that distracted me, some trains, and I'm now on the train back to Moscow. I really hope you've enjoyed this walk around or a excursion to the Russian Children's Railway here in Moscow region. This is quite a fair way from my house. It's about 3 hours from my house from when I left home to get to the physical place. So now I've got a bit more of a calmer, quieter journey to get home. Very, very interesting, and like I said earlier, thanks to Irina for giving me the tour around and to talk about a lot of things that I probably wouldn't have noticed or picked up on, and to even see one of the trains in the garage. Very cool, really and truly. The dedication and the skill of these young kids just is mind-blowing, and I know I've said it a few times during this video, but really and truly it's just something else. And I didn't realize the magnitude of this event today, so I really am grateful to come on the last day of the year for the railway and to see pretty much, I think, every child that attends through the course of the year there. So just a different experience that I wasn't expecting. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. I did meet quite a few subscribers today as well, kind of a few selfies, and lots of people just very interested in what I'm doing and making videos. If you do want to follow me on Telegram, my link is right here. You can click that and then you can follow me on Telegram. And if you want to see another video, I'm going to put a train video so you can keep traveling on the trains with me. And yeah, I'm off on another adventure. Bye everybody.